Thank you so much, Himanshu. Yes. I wish that some of the policies, if they come to adopt the San Francisco's policies, then it would be a great thing to do. Like if they come up with some of the models to tell the architects and other persons to take a look on it and imply those things. Like these are the certain small things which can be, I guess, which can be changed. So yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next presenter. Though his name is last in the list, but please hold on. We have two more presenters. They're present now. So I will call SM Farhan Ali to present on embedding biodiversity into an environmental, social, and governance ESG framework. Farhan Ali, are you present?
Yes, just wait. Let me share the screen.
Sure, sure.
I hope I'm audible and my screen is also visible.
Yeah, the screen is visible, but I think the mobile screen is also being seen apart from the.
Oh no, it's not a mobile screen. It's just a mini screen of.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm SM Farhan Ali. We are not from any educational institutions. We are from a sustainable advisory company that is situated sustainability intelligence that is situated in Salt Lake Sector 5. Dr. Paromit Chatterjee is with me, and I have sent the abstract with the name of me and him also. So actually, our primary objective to connect here, I mean, to present here is to connect with the newcomers and make them know about the opportunities, about the what are the progress in the field of environment. So we actually see biodiversity as a component of this environmental initiatives, or as we know that as we are so there are so many people. I hope from the environment background. I have completed my graduation, my UG and PG is also from it's also in environmental science from the University of Calcutta. So currently, I'm at the position as a ESG environment and ESG specialist here. So I have worked for Dabur India Limited for the last 1 year, and I have worked for their supply chain sustainability in the ESG background. So I just want our people to know that what is ESG and how we can progress with the biodiversity in this term. Actually, we see if you use the term environment, then all the component like social governance, biodiversity, nature's related, climate change, all the components are comes under the environment part. So that's why. And let me move on to the next slide. Okay, so let us talk about the ESG. ESG is environment, social, and governance. That is a strategic approach to inform. There's a strategic approach to disclosure and improve the score. There's a term called ESG score. So there are certain criteria. There are certain frameworks that will guide any organizations who are emitting too much carbons, or who those are responsible for any environment related for their actions that has need to be taken, and the social and the governance. So these are all the part of the ESG. This is the collective approach they need to take, and they this actually serves the sustainable development goals. We all know that there are 17 sustainable development goals. By this ESG perspective, this is entirely health. This is entirely health. Sorry for the- Okay. So, for the ESG perspective, we are this is a collective approach to help to meet the sustainable development goals. For example, there are very commonly used ESG frameworks called Global Reporting Initiatives, SASB, Sustainable Accounting and Standard Boards. There is a task force on climate-related and financial disclosures, and carbon disclosure projects, and more. So there are several frameworks. You can see that a carbon disclosure project, it is initially started as a carbon counter, or we can say it's a disclosure on the carbons, on specifically on the carbons. But currently they are doing they are reaching the biodiversity part also. So there are several frameworks like the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, and there are IFC, International Finance Corporations, and all. So there are several frameworks that an organizations or a big entity or a facility, they can adopt the approach and can give their disclosures. So that they are giving the disclosure, and so that they can perform as per the requirements. So they need to take actions against them, whatever they are emitting, whatever the carbons, whatever the amount of energy resource they have, and the renewable and non-renewable, and the carbon part also, and if they need any necessary actions in terms of biodiversity, like in case of to build any factories, if there is any habitat distractions or any deforestation activities has been happened, so they need to comply as per the environmental laws, environmental protection laws. According we have In accordance with the environmental protection laws we have in our country or in global purpose. And this is applicable actually for the entirely in the this is applicable for the globally applicable for all the countries and all the facilities wherever they are belonging to. So let me move on to the next slides. So these are the, I mean, there's a very brief introductions about the frameworks like GRI. This is one of the most widely used ESG frameworks. It is focuses on the company's impact on climate change and human rights, governance, and social well-being. So actually, the biodiversity comes in the part under the climate change and environment. There are several social issues like human rights, occupational health and safety, that will also come under the social issues, and there are some governance issues like anti-bribery and corruptions also. You can see there is another framework, sustainability accounting and standard boards. This framework identifies the subset of ESG issues most relevant, and there's a 77 of industries they have categorized, and they try to find the what are the key sector-wise, sector-specific key performance indicators that they need to work on as per the industry. For example, like if any industries they has to work on their ESG score. I mean, environment, social, and governance. Any part they need to work on. So there is an industry-specific specifications that they have to work on those factors, those ESG factors, so that they that is very there is a clear visions about there's a clear visions on the company, that is they can use it or they can work on this issue, so that they can develop their ESG scores. So there's not about the scores, that implementations works is very important in terms of any facilities or organizations. If I say there's a task force on climate related financial disclosures. So this framework helps companies understand what financial markets want to disclose to measure and respond to climate change risks, and encourages firms to align their disclosures with investors needs. So so there are several investors like IFC and World Bank Group also. So they have a certain criteria that has to meet any organization. They need their investment. So, for example, any renewable energy project or in solar or solar wind hybrid. So they has to meet the IFC criteria. IFC, there is performance standards. There are 8 performance standards they have. They need to take all the criteria. If there are certain things like biodiversity, management of biodiversity and natural risks, and that is comes under PS6, and there is also PS5, that is involuntary resettlement. and that is the social issue. So this is all comes under environment. This is covering the environment part also, and the social issues. Governance, not initially in case of any pre-constructions projects, governance part is less important. The mostly important are environment and social. So next is SDGs. So I hope I don't need to describe that. This is already everybody is very much aware. All the respective dignitaries present here, they are very much aware about the sustainable development goals. There are 17 sustainable development goals we have, and and also we are all serving. Actually, we are all. This is collectively the ESG purpose is serving the sustainable development goals. It is helping to meet the sustainable development goals. So let go to the carbon disclosure project. That is, this is a global disclosure. As I mentioned earlier, that this is initially developed. This framework is initially developed to be to count the carbons of any organizations, but currently they are also serving as a biodiversity service. I mean, they are also covering all the biodiversity aspects, and they have revised their frameworks. Now, let's just an overview of the presentations, that is importance of the biodiversity and sustainable life. So, in what area we need to think about the in case of ESG? I mean, embedding biodiversity in ESG into ESG. So that's why this overview has been given. It's supposed resilient against climate change and environmental disruptions. Loss of biodiversity threaten food security, health, and livelihoods globally. So these are the overview of the presentations. Now come to the biodiversity and the environmental pillar. So extremely sorry for the too much informations, as there are projects we ESG projects we have. The informations of for any projects is comes under DPDP Acts, that is Data Privacy and Data Protection Act. So we can't use this. We can't use those data on any purpose. So that's why we have given a very broad write-up, so that we can reach to. So, firstly, ecosystem services underpin climate resource stability. So, it biodiversity maintains critical ecosystem services such as water filtration, nutrient cycling, and carbon storage that regulate Earth's climate and support agriculture, fisheries, and freshwater ecosystems. So, that is how a biodiversity is serving the environment. So now, for example, mangrove forests protect coastline from the surges while sequestering up to 4 times more carbon than terrestrial forests. So it is actually serving the SDG 13 and SDG 14 as well. So next, go to the nature positive practices, reduce environmental risks. So by integrating nature positive strategies such as rewilding, agroforestry and sustainable harvesting businesses, and communities reduce environmental degradations and build ecological resilience. For example, regenerative agriculture agriculture in India has improved soil health and biodiversity while increasing farmer income and reduce chemical runoff. So as we know, SDG 15, it is also serving the SDG 15, that is life on land. Okay. Then uh, let let us move forward to the support climate adaptations and mitigation efforts. So, ecosystem rich in biodiversity provide the natural defense against climate extremes and act as a carbon sinks, helping to both adapt and mitigate the climate risk impacts. Now, as an instance, we can say reforestation projects in have restored biodiversity and created carbon credits, aligning conservations with economic opportunity. So that is also serving SDG 13 and SDG 15 as well. Now let's move forward to the social pillars that biodiversity can serve. So biodiversity sustain livelihoods and food security. Millions of people, as we know, especially in the rural and indigenous communities, depends on biodiversity for farming, fishing, forestry, and ecotourism. So, a rich variety of species ensures stable food supplies and diversified income sources. So, for example, as an instance, we can say in Southeast Asia, a small scale fisheries reliant on diverse marine life provide critical protein and income for all the coastal populations. Next, if you see how they can serve, like preserves indigenous knowledge and cultural heritage, that is most important. One of the most key pillars we can say in terms of social. Biodiversity is deeply woven into the cultural identities and traditional practices of indigenous peoples. So, as an instance, we can say that communities in the Andes maintain thousands of native potato varieties using ancient biodiversity based on farming practices. So that is, I have also given the sustainable development goals that they are serving. It is serving the SDG 11, promotes health and community resilience. So that is nature ecosystem contribute to physical are better equipped to support communities during crisis. So, forest ecosystem in West Africa, as an instance, if you see the instance, forest ecosystem in West Africa are a source of medicinal plants used in traditional and modern healthcare system. That is also comes under the SDG. If you see the that comes in the good health and well-being SDG 3. So next, if you go to the governance part, biodiversity and the governance pillar. So that is encouraging transparency and accountability. So that is the transparency accountability is one of the key part of the governance. If you see in terms of ESG, that is integrating the biodiversity into governance frameworks and compels the organizations to disclose their environmental impacts and dependencies. This fosters clearer reporting, improved risk management, and ethical responsibility into any corporate and public sectors. So, companies assessing biodiversity related risks as part of their governance models are better equipped and to respond and to environmental regulation and stakeholder expectations. So environmental regulations again comes under any environment part, and it's an environmental sector, and stakeholder expectations, it comes under the social. So it is actually collectively biodiversity is serving to ESG, environment, social, and governance. Lining with ESG, lining with the global frameworks of ESG, if you see biodiversity global framework, that is biodiversity considerations are increasingly embedded in leading ESG and sustainability reporting standards. That is TNFD, Task Force on Nature-Related Financial Disclosures, that guides businesses on nature-related risks and opportunities. GRI, as earlier I have mentioned this earlier, that GRI and SASB, that is Sustainability Accounting and Standards Boards, this include biodiversity as a material issue. Material issue, the term uses, I mean, material issue means this is as per the sector of any industry. This is sector specific term. That is, if for any industry, material can be a material issue can be a biodiversity. So that's why, for example, for any industry, air emissions is a material issue. So that's why that is the terms is varied upon a sector to sector. Now, carbon disclosure projects, as I mentioned, now tracks biodiversity alongside carbon and water. So initially it was covering the carbon, so now it is looking after all. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, it is serving the goal 12, 14, and 15. As mentioned, 12 is the responsible consumption and production. 14 is life without water, and 13 is climate actions. Now, come to the next part, that is support sustainable decision making and build stakeholders trust. So that is also a key component from the governance. This is the three pillars. The third pillar of the governance, that is strong governance around biodiversity, ensures that decisions are inclusive, science-based, and future-focused. Transparent biodiversity governance increase investors' confidence and strengthens community relations. For example, multinational companies incorporating biodiversity metrics in board level decision making and viewed as more resilient and responsible by investors and consumers alike. Next, come to strategic integration in ESG, how to embed biodiversity. To effectively, if you see, to effectively integrate biodiversity into ESG frameworks, organization must go beyond the compliance, of course, and adopt a proactive, nature positive approach. The nature positive approach. So actually, in case of any industry there who is working, who is very, I mean, who is encouraging biodiversity and they want to score better in the sector section of biodiversity. So they are just complying the guidelines or the laws we have in the or they have in their country. So this is that's why it is saying that the organizations must go beyond the compliance and to adopt proactive nature positive approach. So now come to assess and impact dependencies on nature. Understand how your operations, supply chains, and product affect the biodiversity, the ecosystem, and use tools. There are several tools in the market now that is addressing, and we are also the part of we are also assessing those things through the tools.
I
We
would
use tools.
request Farhan to you just wrap it up because it's already 15 minutes, more than 15 minutes. So please wrap it up within 2-3 minutes, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, so go. Let's go forward. I mean, for example, a food company assessing its supply chain for deforestation related impacts to ensure sustainable sourcing. Okay. So, for example, for a big entities, for a big FMCG like Dabur, they have 12 nearly 1,200 suppliers for their different 33 plants they have in their whole country, and they have 1,200 more than 1,200 suppliers in their facility. So that's why they need to. FMCG means fast moving manufacturing goods, consumer goods. Sorry. So that's why they need to produce every day, and they need to go to sell their product to the market. So that's why they have an intense pressure of maintaining all the things throughout their operations. So their operations is from the downstream. I mean, if you see they are, as FMCG markets say, they are mostly based mostly dependent on the agricultural products. So that is from the downstream, it is goes to the upstream. Upstream means the factories, and that is again goes to the downstream. So downstream means that is to the consumers. Next, go to set biodiversity related targets. So if any company they are assessing their biodiversity, they are conducting the biodiversity assessment or ESG assessment, they need to set targets or goals and targets. I mean, there should be a goals, and to achieve the goals, there should be several targets. They breaks it into targets, and there should be several action plan they have. Now, let's report on biodiversity risks and progress. So they can progress. So there's a quarterly reporting system in case of ESG. So that is called ESG reporting. So they say for any organization or big entity, they can take different frameworks as a guidance, like GRI or BRSR. We have business responsibility and sustainability reporting. CDPs also have, and DJSI there is present also. So they have different reporting methodology. So that is called disclosure. So in case of disclosure, there is a yearly disclosure, there is quarterly disclosure. Two is applicable. Two methods is applicable. So there is in case of any big firms, so they need to uh, give those data on an integrated report that is called ESG report, or whatever they can call it, sustainability reporting, or we can call it. So they need to give all the emissions data, energy consumptions data, and whatever is applicable and comes under the ESG criteria as per the frameworks. They need to complete it. Sorry, they need to uh, compile it within a report. So that is called report on ESG, and obviously biodiversity comes under the ESG aspect. And now collaborate with communities and conservation partners. So there are different NGOs, researchers, and local stakeholders that they are taking the environmental initiatives, so that can support to make a better ESG component for any company. Now, next to embedding biodiversity into strategies offers multi-dimensional benefits. Now, enhances resilience as risk management that helps to reduce its exposure to environmental shocks, regulatory risks, and supply chain vulnerabilities through healthier ecosystems. And the it also strengthens the brand value and investor confidence, strengthens brand value and investor confidence. So now unlocks innovations and sustainable growth, it drives product innovations, open new markets, and uh, supports long-term value creating through nature-based solution. Next, call to actions. What are the actions we can take in terms of biodiversity? All sectors must act collectively. Government, business, finance, and civil society must join force to halt biodiversity loss and restore nature. Now, integrate biodiversity into ESG. Treat biodiversity not as an optional add-on, but as strategic and ethical imperative for sustainable development. And next is celebrate and protect nature for future generation. Our actions today will define the health, prosperity, and resilience of tomorrow's world. Next is this is I hope this is already wraps up future sustainability businesses. There's 3 points we the world this is the global aspect that needs to work on, that is net zero carbon goals by 2050, rise of green finance and sustainable investment funds, and AI driven sustainability solutions for efficient business operations. Okay, thank you. If there is any query, so please let me know so I can answer.
Thank you, Farhan. Thank you for the presentation. Any question?